Avete sentito due interventi.
Good afternoon. Well, you've heard two sets of comments. I'm going to speak now. You heard from Manon, who was describing the industrial decline in Europe, which is a problem. And then you heard from Martin that there is a problem linked to the tech giants. And that is something on which we need to take action. And then thirdly, I would like to talk about the wealth of the individual. If we talk about tech giants, if we talk about the rights of the individual, if we talk about industrial decline, then this is essentially the failure of capitalism that we are observing. We're very much aware of that, and we want to provide an answer to it. For example, in the industrial sector, we want to have effective taxation for tech giants and multinationals, and we also want to have a wealth tax irrespective of where individuals' wealth comes from. Now, financial capitalism assumes that individuals can act as if they were multinationals. There are individuals who behave as if they were corporations. They move money around. They're just bringing in income from work, from capital. And there used to be tax from work and tax on capital, and there used to be tax on land. But we don't have that in financial capitalism. Therefore, it is only fair and reasonable that we apply taxes to those individuals. So there is one proposal from Gabriel Zucman, who has suggested last summer that we should have a wealth tax on over 100,000 euros. So there should be 100 million. There should be a standard tax of 3%. That would generate 120 billion euros. That would be a massive pile of cash in which we could invest in our economy, in industry, in the workers. That would create some space for us to work if we were to introduce fairness into this financial capitalism, which at the moment is designed to create inequality. Now, we have the reactions of Trump and the most recent responses from other international partners. Looking at these tariffs, they've produced counter-tariffs. But the market over the last few years has made certain individuals very rich. We've seen growth in the US and EU, and that's only been experienced by the top 1% of the population. The grand majority of workers in the US and in EU haven't benefited from that growth at all. They haven't seen any growth. We have all lived through stagflation. The richest people in the EU and the US have actually piled up wealth and riches. In Europe, over the last 4 years, the top 1% of the population has seen their wealth increase by 2.3 trillion euros, and in the United States the figures are even higher. But that only applies to the richest percentile. If we look at the super rich and apply a tax, that wouldn't only be fair, it would also correct a model that has faults built in. We have demand and we have growth, but most people are unable to consume enough to survive. In the EU, we have about 25 million people who are living in poverty, and there is this ever-increasing wealth gap. There is a trade war, a tariff war, that will ultimately affect workers above all. So there are going to be job losses potentially in the EU because of a reduction in exports, and it's going to be the working class that bear the brunt of that. They won't have purchasing power, they might not even have a job. And so the left today is proposing a three-part strategy for addressing industrial decline that is addressing the question of these multinational tech giants, and we're also saying that there should be a tax on the super rich. Thank you.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you. We have 10 minutes for questions now. Please introduce yourselves and which media you work for. Yes.